campaign season began, we talked about whether or not it was going to be 1968 or 1964, way back before anyone was talking about it. And then we determined it was going to be 1968, and we decided that months ago, not 1964, 1968, and we are turning into 1968. And it's not going to work out well for the Democrats if this keeps going crazy and the violence happens and occurs and keeps getting bigger and bigger. The San Jose situation is, of course, as of now, the worst situation. We have a Trump rally, and then afterwards we have anti-Trump protesters throwing eggs at people, hitting them with fists and other things. They're out there throwing around the Mexican flag. I saw a sign that said America was never great. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, what is going on here? It doesn't work when you're violent. It doesn't work when you speak out against the United States and say, we're nothing and Mexico is better. Mexico doesn't come close to the United States. As anyone who has followed us knows, we consider Mexico a good friend to the United States and a good neighbor. We have drug issues, we're dealing with it, we're working with their government. But Mexico is not the United States, and that's why most people would rather come here than go there. And to be putting up the Mexican flag during violence, attacking pro-Trump protesters, does you nothing, absolutely nothing, except for the people who are watching who are going, if those people feel that way, then I'm voting for Trump. What are you doing putting up Mexican flags? What are you doing putting up America was never great? If you're really a protester and you really want a Bernie or a Hillary to win, what are you doing? That just makes the Trump people stronger. That makes those in the middle and on the sidelines wondering, maybe I got to come in to stop this, because this isn't Mexico. You fly the American flag because we're Americans. You you go up and say this guy isn't going to be good for America. That's just what we're talking about straight on. Forget whether or not we think something's going to be wrong with America if Trump wins. The bottom line is, if the left feels that Trump's going to win, then the left's got to be cool about it and go to what used to be called nonviolent protests. That's what Dr. King talked about. Everybody forgets Martin Luther King. They talk about him, but they forget that he was nonviolent. Ali just died. Everybody forgets. Ali was nonviolent. He was violent in the ring because his profession was a violent profession, boxing, combat sports. But when he was out there, he fought the establishment. Whether you agreed with him or not, he fought the establishment and he won non-violently, and he did it through the rules, and it worked. And look how people consider Muhammad Ali now, a hero, a great American, someone who did it and made things happen and change. Being out on the streets and burning things and egging people is not going to work. It's only going to make the pro-Trump people more steadfast in how they believe and make those independents wonder, maybe I should go with Trump. And the San Jose mayor, what are we talking about? Blaming Trump because of what Trump says? And the left wing saying it's all Trump's fault? No, it isn't. The First Amendment allows people to say what they want to say. We've talked about the First Amendment here. The First Amendment is great. It's better to hear what someone has to say than not hear and have them hide behind platitudes and jive. Trump tells you what he thinks. You know what he's dealing with. We talked about the judge, and he's talking about him being Mexican, and we got crazy over this and said, what are you talking about? Look at our older video. He's an American. Trump starts talking Mexico. He kills himself doing that. Yet the anti-Trump protesters go and do the same thing, but they do it violently. And then the establishment in these cities sit there and back these people who are violent. Instead of saying, gosh, I blew it. Maybe I should have had the police out there and been prepared. Well, the San Jose mayor blew it. You blew it, man. And it's your fault. Don't go blaming Trump. And the left wing, quit blaming Trump. The more you play his game, the more you're going to lose. Let's remember Ali. Let's remember Dr. King. Nonviolent protest works. It worked in the South during the Civil Rights era, and it will work again. If you're mad, protest nonviolently. Forget the Mexican flags. Forget the bad mouth in America on the signs. Just sit down and say, he's wrong and we're willing to be arrested for it. Things will change. Your position will be out there and will be respected and not looked down on. It's time for Americans and the kids to grow up, vote, and start working on nonviolent protest. Nonviolent protest. Peace.